I wanted to create some sort of support platform for people, and I'm often a resource for people. I often get people directed to me. So as part of the academy, I thought, right, why don't I try and put something together? So all of my knowledge, all of my things I've learned, all of the mistakes I've made, I can put in one place to hopefully support other registered managers or people starting up care agencies or who are struggling with the compliance side.
Welcome to Smart Profit AI, where we unpack the real challenges behind building learning platforms. Today, we're exploring a topic nearly every founder faces: the hidden costs of DIY tech fixes in online learning startups. DIY tech fixes can feel quick but budget friendly, but what are the unseen risks? Joining me is Sarah Parkins, Managing Director at Sarah Parkins Academy, a newly formed UK-based online education startup focused on delivering impactful learning experiences. Welcome, Sarah. Sarah, to get us started, tell us about your role at Sarah Parkins Academy and what the business is all about.
Yeah, well, the name kind of says what I do. It's me. And basically, I started the academy. There is only me in the academy at the moment. And I started it basically following my care agency. So my day job is normally running a care agency, which I'm just sidestepping away from. And for the last 10 years, I've had that agency and just found it really overwhelming, with all the compliance and everything you have to think about as a registered manager and running a business as well. And felt that I wanted to create some sort of support platform for people. And I'm often a resource for people. I often get people directed to me. So as part of the academy, I thought, right, why don't I try and put something together? So all of my knowledge, all of my things I've learned, all of the mistakes I've made, I can put in one place to hopefully support other registered managers or people starting up care agencies or who are struggling with the compliance side, especially because it's all very evidence-based, everything that we have to do for the Care Quality Commission, who is our, overseer. It's a bit like Ofsted for schools. And we have the same kind of boundaries and regulations that we have to follow. So for me, very much it was about taking the stress out of that for other people, and everybody gets really overwhelmed, and it was just I feel like my main role is just to kind of de-stress everybody that runs a care agency, because it is horrific trying to run a care agency. There's so many things you've got to hoops you have to jump through, and basically just trying to look after people well, and sometimes that gets forgotten because you're so bogged down in all the things that you've got to send through or fill in and all that kind of stuff. So very much just wanted to create a platform, one platform, not one that you have to sign into multiple things, to be able to support other people in positions that I was, 10 years ago when I started by your side. So very much a support role.
And as the managing director, what are your day-to-day responsibilities?
So really it's putting everything together. So I'm forever evolving. My team, bless them, put up with me all the time. I'm always changing things and going, right, we're not going to do it that way anymore. We're going to change it. This is much better. This gets rid of 3 forms. So my main role is to basically try and simplify running the business, but making sure that we're outstanding still, that we're meeting all our customers' needs, that we're meeting all our staff needs as well, and that we're forecasting, because one thing we're not very good at in this industry is looking at the future and what that looks like and planning. So very much everything. So it's all on me. Everything is me.
All on your head.
Absolutely.
So who are your learners then? What learning solutions are you aiming to deliver?
Yes, we are looking to work with other care agencies. So ideally people who have just started out, because obviously they have no clue about what they're stepping into normally. And they're normally really, background of people who've been carers themselves and think, I can do this myself, exactly how I started on my dining room table 10 years ago. But very much those people who are just finding everything a little overwhelming, because there isn't a one-stop shop. So you can't just go onto the CQC website and they tell you how to run your business. There is no sort of support information. And there's lots of agencies out there that do different little bits. And what I've tried to do is pull everything together. So instead of having to outsource, because the resources are out there, but you have to go look for it, and you might not know that you need it.
Yeah.
So the way that I've written the programs that I deliver is that I will tell you what to be looking for. So I'm going to make you go and look at something, and if you haven't got it, I'm going to tell you how to put one together, or I'm going to give it to you so that you have got one, so it doesn't bite you in the bottom somewhere along the line.
Wow. Yeah, you do sound like you do a lot.
Yes.
Okay, so let's move on then and dive deeper into the DIY tech solution. So in a fast-paced world of edtech startups, there is a strong pull towards the DIY tech solution. It's cost-effective and fast, but often imperfect. From your experience, why do you think so many early-stage education ventures opt for this route?
I think it's because they think they're solving the problem, but I think actually what's happening is a lot of the time they're just adding to it because it's just another platform. And one thing that we're really trying to do at the Academy is to not be another platform. We want to be the first place that you look, and we'll tell you where to go so that you don't have to go scrolling through Google trying to find a platform that works for your business. Yeah. And I think people try and do too much. And, probably 2 years ago when I started thinking about this thing and started working on it, with my agency, I think I was in that kind of ball as well. I want to fix everything. I want to have everything. And actually what we need is experts in what they know, because I think what happens is it all gets diluted. The information is not perfect because it's not your speciality. Because lots of people say to me, "Oh, I would, run a care home and da da da." I don't do care homes, so a lot of my stuff will be transferable, but it may not be perfect for them because it's not what I know. So I was tempted myself to have an e-learning platform, and do our own videos and all this. Actually, when I work one-to-ones with companies, which I do alongside what we provide on a monthly basis, I find that they just need that attention. And actually, that wouldn't work for the next agency that I work with. So it's very hard to get a one platform fits all.
Of course, that caters to everyone's needs.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, and one of the big things that we have in the care industry is everything always seems to be tailored to either the NHS or care homes. And domiciliary seems to just get forgotten. When you go on training courses, you sit there and there's a mix of both, in the room, and it's always led by the care home standard, not the domiciliary care. So it's never quite right for dom care, which is why I'm kind of focusing, that's what we're going to do. And we may create an e-learning platform somewhere down the line, but actually I just want to focus on getting, the basics right, and for that to not feel overwhelming. But I think, a lot of the time they try and be all singing, all dancing, and actually it just becomes complicated and not personal, especially for the training. As I say, a lot of my team sit through e-learning trainings. They're like, "Sarah, that was really," I went, "I know, but we have to tick the box, and it's the only one that's available." So, it's not actually adding any value as a learning platform, which is why we've developed the 3-year training, which does still include the e-learning platforms that are out there. But we do much more in-house and much more tailored stuff. So you can talk more about the practical stuff that's happening, because we've had lots of staff come through who are doing moving and assisting. So they're moving people, and all they've done training wise is an e-learning.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's just not safe. It's just like, so they've never used a hoist, they've never used an electric bed, they've never actually tried to move somebody who's got dementia, who's trained. So for us, it's kind of going, that's okay as a competency check, but actually this is what needs to be done. So we're trying to put that gold standard through the program where this is what you should do, and then you can use e-learning as a bit of a competency check, but it shouldn't be in these topics the first point of call. You need to make sure somebody can actually use a hoist and can actually move somebody, and I think that's the scary thing is, I'm a massive advocate for things being online because it makes it accessible to people, but we are really walking a very fine line, especially in my industry, where tech is taking over from the practical stuff that still needs to happen, and people are getting lazy. So I think it's causing a bit of a lazy kind of, well, they've done training, because first thing we ask is, have you done e-learning or have you done face-to-face?
Because being face-to-face is practical. You're actually there, focused, you're taking in the information, whereas e-learning, it can sometimes your focus is somewhere else.
Yeah, or you just do the test at the end and you haven't
Yeah,
actually watched the videos, which was,
exactly.
and especially if you're doing the same one every single year,
Yeah,
which is why we've created the platform that we have. So it will be a culmination of 3 different types of learning. So also meeting everybody's needs, because some of my staff absolutely hate e-learning. They love the face-to-face, and then others hate the face-to-face because they like to hide behind the computer. So
exactly.
yeah, it's about having, making sure it's accessible to everybody as well. And I think COVID is a lot to blame for, everything going online, which we completely understood and we wouldn't have survived without it.
Yeah,
But we seem to still be struggling to come back out of that and go, we still need that person to person kind of training out there,
of
and
course.
it's lovely because you can do these virtual things. I've done my whole Carer to CEO program. We launched that 2 years ago and trialed it, and that was fab, and it worked really well because it meant I could have people across the country and not face to face. But when I do team training, they always prefer me to be in the room with them,
Yeah,
because then you can talk and you can see how people are reacting, and you miss so much as a trainer when you're not, when you can't see them. When I go on training and their cameras off,
yeah,
I'm like, are they even actually there? Have they gone off to do the laundry? Am I just talking to
of
myself?
course. Yeah, the blank screen, and you don't know what's going on behind the computer.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the follow-up stuff, and I think, especially in my industry, it's that great, you've got the certificate to say that person has done it, but what have you done to actually check they've understood that?
Yeah,
Because they might just be really good at answering the questions at the end, or they might have done it 10 times and passed,
of
so it's
course.
kind of
Yeah,
like they know all the answers because it told them what the right answer was,
yeah,
and they've just gone through it again. So yeah, so for us, and part of the academy is just that compliance stuff to
yeah,
kind of go, okay, so what did you then do to follow up?
of
Which is
course.
why we've created that outstanding care compliance program,
Of
which
course.
is our main offering.
Yeah. Okay. So when you first started Sarah Parkins Academy, were you one of the people who used a DIY tech solution to kind of get your platform up and running, or did you have investors or researched into um, not taking the budget friendly way, but really took your time and energy and money spent onto this?
Yeah, well, I think that's what's been really interesting. So I worked with a brand designer, very expensive, created the website that we currently have.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think she ever really understood what I was trying to deliver. And actually, it doesn't work for us. I'm actually just going through a whole new platform change and have
Okay.
a meeting with a specific person who might be able to build the platform for me next week, funny enough. Because I think it's really important. I say I want something that's going to ease of use, more from me, because I've got to upload this stuff and I'm not really IT savvy at all.
Of course.
And I need to be able to go, right, I'm going to be uploading potentially 30 documents
Of course.
that's going to be renewed every year, updated documents to make sure policies and forms are up to date. So it needs to be something easy for me, but also something that's, it's not laborious to get in there. It's nice and easy to find what you need, so if there's a workshop, they can just click into workshops and find the workshop for that month. So for me, it's been a bit of a journey because, as I say, you kind of pay people who tell you that's what they do and then didn't quite get that right. So we've already spent lots of money to get to the stage, but actually I can't launch the website properly because it doesn't quite function how I want it to.
Of course.
So we're going through the whole thing. So I think, when you're starting, it's really hard to
Yeah.
know kind of what's best. And we have that with our CRM systems,
Yeah.
our systems where we do all our rotas and everything on,
Yeah.
and there's so many platforms out there. And a lot of the ones that suit you when you're brand new, you end up having to add on all the time. And that's what I don't want for the Academy. I'm trying to find something that's going to be the same. It's always going to stay the same. So it's really easy for everyone to use and it's user friendly for the whole teams
Okay.
because, we're not all tech savvy. So, that's definitely one of my biggest challenges.
Yeah. No, but I was going to lead on to my next question. I was going to ask you, what kind of challenges tends to emerge from this? What would you say your main biggest challenges right now?
I think it's getting it right. I now know what it looks like and it feels like because I've been
Yeah.
testing it with my business,
Yeah.
but getting it to the people I want to help now is definitely my biggest challenge. And I think what we're going to do is trial something and do some invites for some people that I've already sort of done some background work with and get them to use the platform, and so we can tweak it. But yeah, it's that big investment, and it is that this next stage is going to be expensive to get it right. But if we get it right, then it should pay in dividends. But yeah, definitely just the lack of knowledge from my part of trying to set it up, because I've got the idea, I know exactly what it looks like, I know exactly how I want it to look like, but I have no idea how to do that myself, so it's relying on others, I think, and trusting, recommendations, and doing all your research and having that time to kind of go, well, what platforms work? And also the affordability when you're starting something new, you haven't got an endless pot of money. I mean, I'm lucky I've got a running business alongside it, which funds everything, all my crazy ideas that I come up with. But yeah, I think it's that lack of knowledge on that side, and making sure that we've got the right people, and also the support for me, because it will just be me in the background. And if I do end up having other people join me, to work with me, that they're able to access it easy enough without, destroying the platform if they did something. So.
Okay, then. So if we're looking ahead in 6 to 12 months, where do you want Sarah Parkins Academy to be?
Well, we are doing a new launch in March. So as I say, we kind of soft launched a couple of years ago just to see what sort of people sort of interacted. And we were focusing more around my Carer to CEO program, which is a 10-part program that I deliver. People are attending, and it's all CPD accredited. So we were trialing that first because that was kind of the core thing. And then obviously my outstanding care compliance program has kind of become the main thing now, because I'm just like, actually, this is a bigger need than that program. So that's just going to be sort of a sideline. So in the next 6 months, I'm hoping to have a platform that I'm then comfortable with. I've been running the program, as I say, with my business, and I've been supporting some other agencies sort of quietly with it, just emailing them the information. So I'm hoping in the next 6 months that we will relaunch, which will be amazing. And then hopefully in the next 12 months, we'll have a nice steady base of customers. And then for me, it's going to be that feedback, is it working? Because what works for me might not work for somebody else. I might need to tweak how we get feedback and how, as I say, interactive everything is. So yeah, so I think the next 12 months is really exciting because it's kind of almost like starting again. So
how right now are you getting your customers, or how are you planning to get your customers?
yeah, so at the moment I'm doing lots of research. I'm using AI. ChatGPT and me are like the best of friends. It's like my PA. And I find it really helpful. It just kind of helps you to point you in the right direction. I do attend a lot of network events. And people do tend to signpost to me because I've got my outstanding with my care agency, and I've been doing it quite a while now. So obviously coming up with our 10th birthday. So lots of people will sort of say, oh, speak to Sarah by your side. She'll help you, or she'll send you one of those, which is why, we kind of got the academy. So all the IP that I have for, by your side is going to be available through the academy. But I think a lot of it will be word of mouth, but I will then go and look at people who've just set up, people who are in some of the platforms out there. There's lots of new starting care agency platforms out there, so I'm in all of those. But again, it's going to be using resources and learning, where you can kind of source people. It might be something that I sort of send out externally, but I do have quite a good network of people anyway, because of what I've been doing for the last 10 years. So yeah, it will be kind of going, did you want one of these? I've now got them. They're now available. So yeah, so a whole new learning curve of marketing, because we've never really marketed by your side. It's always been word of mouth. So yeah, so the marketing world is a new thing for me. So something else I'm learning.
That's one of your challenges as well, or is it not at the moment?
Yeah, I think it will be a challenge, because as I say, obviously, there's going to be other services, and I think it's also one of the big challenges, if it's successful, is can I just manage it on my own, or am I going to need the external support? Yeah, which is what I was trying to avoid by stepping out of the agency, was just to be me, myself, and I. But yeah, I think it could be another challenge, is just kind of, if it gets too big, how does that work? There's only one of me, and if people book my services, such as my internal audits and things like that I'll come and do, and it's really getting a feel, and that's what I'm really hoping, is that it will still stay really personable. I don't want people just to be a business that I send stuff to. I actually want to know about them. I want to get to know their brand. I want to get to know what makes them tick, so that I can make sure, like I say, that it's inclusive for all of the agencies and it's not corporate driven, because I'm just a one entity, I'm not one of the big franchises. So I think it's making sure people can pick up the phone and I know who they are and I know their business, business.
Yeah.
So one of the key things for me would be that personal, how I keep it personal as well,
Yeah.
and feel like they feel like I know them
Yeah.
as well, and vice versa, so that they trust having that support, really.
Yeah. Okay, Sarah. So, did you have anything else you want to ask me, or you want to tell the audience, or?
Yeah, I think it's just, we're always looking for ways that we can sort of solve problems, right? That's why we do what we do.
Yeah.
And there is always, you fix one problem and another problem comes up. And I
Yeah.
think it's just being really open to, that evolution of what you think you've started it for. As I say, my idea of it at the beginning was completely different to now I've trialed and tested it,
Yeah.
and actually when you start seeing it, for me, the successes are going to be when other agencies get their outstanding for the first time,
Yeah.
and what other challenges there are and how we integrate. I've penciled in to be at the care shows
Yeah.
next year as the academy. So, and I've got a speaker spot as well. So I think it's just getting people to kind of go, there are some support services out there who will come and give you the information rather than you having to go and look for it. As I say, I'm signed up with lots of different platforms, and they're great, but you have to go in and use them.
Yeah.
Where we're kind of going to go, here's your to-do list for this
Of
month,
course. Yeah.
and kind of get you to be a bit more
Yeah.
proactive instead of waiting for something to happen and then looking up stuff. It's kind of like I'm going to try and prevent it happening in the first place by what I'm giving you.
So, Sarah, this has been an insightful conversation, and I'm sure many founders will take away valuable notes about the DIY techs and practical advice. Before we wrap up, where can listeners connect with you and learn more about your academy?
Yes, so you can find me on Facebook. So if you look up sarahparkinsacademy.com, you will find me everywhere. And that's also our website as well. And you can follow me personally because I will be putting the journey out on there as well. So you can always connect with me personally on Facebook. Facebook is tends to be where I hang out. That's my age group, I'm afraid. Watch out for TikTok. I'm learning. I just had a 16-year-old teach me how to use TikTok. So you may see me somewhere there. But yeah, mainly it is on Facebook. You'll find me, and LinkedIn as well. So you can find me at sarahparkins.com there as well.
Okay, that's fine. And I'll link it in the description below.
Fantastic.
So a big thank you to you, Sarah, for joining us today. If you've enjoyed this episode, please be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and like and share. Thank you.